My name is Hailey Ingraham, and my grandfather was superintendent of Pennsbury for over 10 years. Growing up a Pennsbury legacy, I've heard a lot of interesting stories over the years. So before I graduate, I want to share with you some Pennsbury history and even put some truth behind some Pennsbury rumors.
Hello, my name is Zach Ingram, and my father was superintendent of Pennsbury High Schools from 1963 to 1973. I also have two daughters, Addison Ingram, who graduated Pennsbury in 2011, and Hailey Ingraham, who's a senior this year, 2014. I also graduated from Pennsbury High School in the class of 1977. A lot of people back then know me as Seth Ingram. Seth is my real name. Zach is just a nickname I picked up over the years. And I'd like to tell you some stories from back in the day.
My name is John Straw. Have been a teacher in the Pennsbury School District from 1961 to 1994, and I am presently retired.
Pennsbury quiz on the path. What are our school colors?
Orange and black.
Black and orange.
Black, orange, and white.
Oh, OBW forever, right?
OBW forever.
Orange and black. It's not white.
Orange and black.
Orange, black, and white.
Black and orange.
Orange and black for Pennsbury. Now that's a story. Now this goes back to about 1947, before Pennsbury was founded. And he was the basketball coach for the local team in Lower Makefield. On the team, all he really had were guys that worked on the farm, and all they had were t-shirts and jeans. And my dad said, you know, the guys should look a little bit more together when we go away on games. Well, we didn't have the mall back then, we didn't have the internet, there weren't many places to shop, especially for school equipment. So they got in the car and they drove all the way up to Princeton, Jersey. And Princeton University had a store, and their colors were orange and black. So they bought orange and black ties for the newly formed Pennsbury basketball team. It was so amazing when I found this. I was digging through a box and I saw the orange and black, and I said to myself, could that be the tie that started Pennsbury? Well, when I looked in the tag, it says made for Princeton University store. So this had to be the tie. So amazing. And that's how they became orange and black. It stuck.
And now for some history on Walt Disney Elementary School.
And it was actually originally part of the Tullytown school system before they merged into Pennsbury. My father always had a great story to tell because he was there. They proposed to name the school Walt Disney, but this was a little unusual, naming it after Walt Disney, and quite an honor. They sent letters to Walt Disney saying that they would naming a school after him, and he was quite honored. Matter of fact, the Walt Disney School is the first school in the world to be named after Walt Disney. So he made a trip from Center City, Philadelphia, out on the railroad at the time, which stopped in Levittown. He was met with a grand procession, and they gave him a quick tour of Levittown and then ushered him over to the school. He said it was such an honor and enjoyed meeting with the kids and the parents. He was so honored that after that, he sent some artists from his studios to help with the decoration of the school. And even today, it's the Walt Disney Elementary School. My dad was always quite proud of that story.
I asked students on the path, if you could leave campus for lunch, where would you go?
I'm a person of really sophisticated taste, so I'd probably go to any chain restaurant.
Wawa to get a sandwich.
I would probably go to Chicken Out in the mall. I love Chicken Out.
Chipotle.
Oh, it's a good one.
I think I agree.
I agree.
Burger King.
I'd probably just go home and relax, eat a couple snacks.
I'd probably go to Red Robin.
Oh, that's a good one too.
And boy, was the school crowded back then. I think we had a graduation class of 1,200 students.
And it was an opportunity for the kids during study halls or lunches to be outside the building and monitor their own behavior. Although we did have people that were checking, but it was not as effective as they once thought it would be.
Pennsbury quiz on the path. Why doesn't PHS East have windows?
Because it was built by a person who designs jails.
Because it's a bomb shelter.
Because it was like a prison.
That's they say it was designed.
Oh yeah, it was supposed to be a jail.
Somebody who made a jail.
Yeah.
Because it's a prison.
Because it's a prison.
I'm the one holding the microphone.
Putting a air conditioner in a school was practically unheard of. So they wanted to make sure it was the most efficient building. And it was way back, they didn't know about insulation, things like that, so they could control the climate in the high school with the heating and air conditioning and make it comfortable for everybody. Matter of fact, that's why the windows at the high school are so small.
I asked students on the path, can you imagine a school without computers?
How would we get all our work done without computers nowadays?
I was going to say yeah, because ours don't work anyway.
No.
We need the internet.
Yeah, definitely need the internet.
Be able to work on Word, we wouldn't be able to go on the internet.
I wouldn't come.
Honestly, I wouldn't want to write, so I'm not.
It would be very hard to get stuff done.
Yeah.
Pennsbury High School became the first school, probably on the East Coast, to actually have a computer in the school where the students can access it. Well, it's funny you should even say use the computers. We just learned how to program. But we were basically just creating programs that would add numbers up, similar to a simple calculator.
Pennsbury quiz on the path. When are home football games?
Friday nights.
Like Fridays?
Fridays.
October. Is that season? Football season, probably. Generally, that's when.
Falcon Fridays.
Friday?
Friday nights.
Every other.
Friday Night Lights.
When I think Friday nights, I think of Pennsbury football games, when in fact, this wasn't the case for a very long time.
I think it wasn't too many years ago until Falcon Field, the football field, had lights on it. And when I was growing up, I kind of always wondered why we were the only field without lighting for night games.
We were probably one of the only teams in the league that played on Saturday afternoons.
We used to drive for a very long time and go to the games upstate. Well, it was not uncommon after the football games, after Pennsbury won the football game, that there was a little controversy in the parking lot because these schools didn't have lights in the parking lot, but they had them on the field. And there was quite a few scuffles and riots and pushing and shoving back in these parking lots with the upstate teams, which were a pretty rough crowd.
Well, they were always concerned a little bit about the student behavior. There were some rivalries that still exist today, whether we want to admit it or not.
I asked students on the path, who is Pennsbury's biggest rival in football?
Of course, in Neshaminy.
Definitely Neshaminy.
Neshaminy.
And Neshaminy and everybody else.
I would say Neshaminy is probably a biggest rival.
They give us a tough matchup every year. You know, a lot of people are mad about their names, so that adds fuel to the fire.
Neshaminy.
Well, because of that, my father swore there would be no football games on Friday nights at Pennsbury. So sure enough, he knocked out of the budget the lighting for Falcon Field.
I asked students on the path, how was phys ed swimming?
I had it in winter, so my hair would always freeze. But other than that,
Oh
it was
my
fine.
God.
It was awesome. I only had it freshman year.
I hated it. It was so awful. I hate swimming.
But I liked like the actual swimming part. That was fun.
Yeah, that was fine.
Freshman year, my hair froze because I had it from December to January.
I didn't swim because I don't get in the water.
I only had to do it once. It wasn't that bad. We played games.
And if you really think about it, and anybody that's gone to Pennsbury certainly knows, especially on a cold winter day, why do we have to walk across a cold parking lot to go to the pool? It seems to make no sense today, but back then it did make sense. Pools back in that time were very much a luxury item. And like today, tax money is hard to allocate. So putting the pool in the high school caused a controversy because the way my father sold it to the community was that it was going to be a community pool, not exclusively to be used by the school system, but it could be open to everybody. So that's why it ended in a separate building, because people felt if it was in the high school that other organizations wouldn't be free to use it.
I asked students on the path, what's your favorite part about Sports Night?
Yeah, I think definitely watching all the dances because I like to see what people can come up with for moves and music and like based on the theme.
I just love like how everybody gets so excited for Sports Night.
Boys dances, easily.
The dances.
Sports Night. What a crazy, over-the-top, fun-filled night. But many don't know how far Sports Night dates back to. To tell you more, here's Zach Ingram.
Talking about Sports Night is kind of funny. It's been around a long time. Now, it's not the original program, but this one is from 1963, and it clearly beats the gym night at Neshaminy. Obviously, didn't start off as big as the one at BAME, as you know today, Hailey, with the high-volume, ear-splitting, dancing, racing mayhem that it is today. It started back at Makeville Elementary School, and my father was just back from the war then. Hey, there's always new technology that comes back from the military and things like that. So they decided to put together a sports night in the little gym in the little school of Makeville Elementary. And one of the highlights of the game was one of the guys got fluorescent tape, but that's the stuff that glows in the dark. That was way brand new, and they borrowed it actually from a military supply house, right? So they got a lot of tape, and they made skeletons out of the players, right? Shined the light on them, and then, so the tape would glow, and then they turned the lights off. And of course, they had tape on the basketball, so playing a skeleton game of basketball at the first sports night probably started with all the other traditions of doing something fun. Well, let me tell you about my days in sports night. And really, not as much has changed. Had all the artwork, had all the enthusiasm. I think we were louder back in 77, but you guys do a pretty good job today because I still go to sports night. But it used to be girls' sports night and boys' sports night. Girls would go on Friday night, and then the boys would go on Saturday night. So besides that, the spirit is the same, and all the fun is the same. And my dad went all the years, and I'm going to keep going.
I asked students on the path to explain our prom.
Incredible and awesome.
Amazing. We're prom chairs.
It's the best prom in America.
Prom chairs for life.
We're all prom chairs.
Best time ever.
Best prom in the world.
Best prom in America.
The parade was gorgeous. Everything was fun.
Incredible.
Best prom in America.
It's the best in America.
Wow, the prom today, what an event. I can't believe how big it's gotten. Now, Pennsbury always had a great tradition of having it in the high school, but nothing like it is today. I'll just use my class of 77. We had it in high school, but it was more like, a little crepe paper, a little bit of paper on the walls, nothing like today. It certainly hasn't grown something that everybody can be proud of. What an event.
We truly have an amazing school district, and I hope you all learned a little something about Pennsbury history. This has been Hailey Ingraham with the Pennsbury Channel.